With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Zach with New England Sports Talk, and today we are recapping the top 3 winners of the 2019 NBA Draft. We're just talking about teams. I might actually put out another video for tomorrow about the specific players who were the biggest winners in the draft this year. But right now we're just going to kind of go over the teams in general and go over my top 3 winners of this draft. And I've got some really good stuff to go over with you guys here and kind of give you guys my opinions on this. As always, guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you think is the biggest winner in this draft. Now, again, like I did last video, I kind of want to keep doing this if I can, kind of calling out our new subscribers on the channel. I got a lot of subscribers over like the last 24 hours. I think I got like 10 or 12, but some of you guys, like, I think your settings on YouTube do not show your like subscriptions as public, so I can't see your names. But I have got another one up here for Julian Gentos. I believe I'm saying that, bro, correctly. I apologize if I butchered that a little bit. I'm not the best with names, I'll just be honest with you. But if you guys are new subscribers, thank you everybody who's subscribing, who's commenting, who's liking the videos, who's giving me some feedback. I really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, that was an exciting draft. 2019 draft was pumped. I was pumped the entire way through. There were some teams, there were some players that went certain ways I didn't want them to go to, and there were some that just fit like a glove in my opinion, and it just kind of shocked me. And when teams pull certain triggers on certain players, I was really happy, and I'm kind of happy some players actually fell a little bit more just to be in better situations in my opinion. But let's get started, guys. Let's go over our top 3 winners team-wise in the 2019 draft. First one up, I'm going to start with the Chicago Bulls. They get their solid point guard of the future, Darius Garland, John Morant. They had already been taken at this point. And the Bulls get Coby White at 7.
With the 7th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Coby White from the University of North Carolina.
Fantastic player. This was graded as an A+ pick from, I believe, CBS from when I watched it on draft night. And he's a point guard out of North Carolina. If you haven't seen my recap video of him and my draft profile review of him, go check it out, guys. But this is exactly the guy the Chicago Bulls needed. They needed a ball handler. They've got Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., Zach LaVine, Otto Porter Jr., all fantastic players, but none of them are the real primary ball handlers, or at least probably should be, on an NBA team. Coby White gets to come into that role. He really gets to take the reins, and he gets to be able to insert himself in the offense and really be able to, if he's good, he's going to play, right? He's got the potential to really take that starting role early on in the first half of the season next year, and even in the summer league, we're going to see what he's all about and what he can do. They did get a 38th pick for Daniel Gafford, center out of Arkansas. Not bad. They needed depth at the center position, so that's exactly what they got out of him. Going back to Coby White a little bit, we're going to talk about the possibility of him taking over Chris Dunn's spot as the starting point guard in the Chicago Bulls lineup. Now, Chris Dunn was a pretty promising guard coming into the league. I was also thinking about, as my Lakers, maybe falling back a little bit, maybe to take Chris Dunn, but he did do pretty good the first 2 months of the season, but his productivity just really did trail off since last year. Over the last 2 years, he's missed 66 games because of injuries, and his shooting percentage has fallen down to 42.5% on fewer attempts as well. So he's shooting, usually if you shoot less, you probably have a higher percentage. That's why centers, not only are they shooting so close to the basket, but typically they don't shoot a lot of shots, and their percentages are kind of inflated sometimes, whereas sometimes shooting guards or whatever high volume players, sometimes with higher volume it comes down. Chris Dunn, his volume went down, but also his percentage went down. That's not good at all. Now his 3-point percentage did go up, but that's not bad, but he also went fewer attempts and fewer makes than the previous season. Also on defense, he kind of regressed a little bit as a defender, and he became more of a gambler. When he came into the league, this was a really highly touted defensive point guard, but also he can set up the offense as well. A solid point guard that you can build around. However, his defense, which was one of his really big calling cards, had fallen off, and he's not the same defender as he was. Let's jump into number 2, guys. The second biggest winner as far as the team goes in this NBA draft, I've got the Atlanta Hawks, man. They did outstanding this year. They got number 4. They moved up to DeAndre Hunter.
With the 4th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select DeAndre Hunter.
They started with 6 picks coming into the night. They finished with 3. The first one was DeAndre Hunter at 4. They got 10. At 10, they got Cam Reddish.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Cam Reddish.
And then at 34, they got Bruno Fernando. Really fantastic players. But let's highlight just the 2 wings that they got. DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. DeAndre Hunter is the best wing defender and the best one-on-one ball defender in this draft. They locked him up at 4. They really liked him. I thought he was going to go number 4 in these mock drafts. I didn't make a mock draft. I didn't publicize a mock draft, but I did really want DeAndre Hunter coming in at 4. Some rumors were going Jarrett Culver was going to go 4 or 5, and maybe DeAndre Hunter kind of falls back to like 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. And I thought that was going to be the biggest mistake probably of the draft if some people were passing on DeAndre Hunter. They didn't. Atlanta Hawks realized it. They got him at 4. They got their guy, which was fantastic. But also Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish might have the most potential, not named Zion, RJ, and John Morant. He might have the most potential out of any player drafted outside the top 3, and he's got a lot of things he's got to improve on. I totally get that, but he's got him at 10. That's great value considering his potential, considering his offensive ability. Yes, he's not the best shooting, like as far as statistics goes, and yes, he sometimes does disappear, but to be able to kind of grow next to DeAndre Hunter, 2 really athletic wings, is going to be really good for the Atlanta Hawks. Not only that, the potential that they have with Trae Young and John Collins next to them, that's stacked right there. That is fantastic. And literally, they're playing in the East. The East is not as good as the West, and it hasn't been for a long time. So the ability to improve quickly in the East is going to be really good for them, and they really have an opportunity to kind of get into the playoffs really soon, like sooner than they probably should be. Maybe, I'm not saying that they're going to get to the playoffs next year, but maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, they could be pretty decent players in the East coming up with that promising of a lineup. Again, these guys are this is just based on their performance and how they produce individually and how the team progresses as a whole team and as a whole unit. But not bad at all. And if you, on top of that, if you include the fact that Vince Carter is a free agent, he's going to play for 1 more year. He's already said that. But I would rather him go to the Toronto Raptors. But what if he does come back? This is just hypothetical, but what if he does come back to the Atlanta Hawks and Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter get to go and kind of mentor underneath one of the best small forwards, the most athletic small forwards we've had in a long time in this league. A stand-up guy behind Vince Carter. He can really teach them the reins, and I think that really showed some of the maturity that Trae Young and John Collins had is because of Vince Carter and his leadership that he has on the team. What if he stays 1 more year and he stays behind, or he kind of coaches and mentors DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish? That could be such a difference maker and a career-defining move for these 2 guys. I love the position that they're in. I love the Atlanta Hawks being there, taking DeAndre Hunter at 4 and keeping patient at 10, getting Cam Reddish. I like it a lot. Now, number 3, the third best team that I felt was the biggest winner is the Memphis Grizzlies. They get number 2, Ja Morant.
With the 2nd pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ja Morant.
I don't think that came as any surprise, but the real big hitter in this draft was number 21. They traded with Oklahoma City Thunder and got Brandon Clarke.
With the 21st pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Brandon Clarke.
I've been saying this, if you guys haven't seen any of my videos for these guys, the only guys I have not done that I've named so far as videos is Daniel Gafford that went to the Chicago Bulls, and then Bruno Fernando as well that went to the Atlanta Hawks. But after that, Ja Morant, Brandon Clarke, Kobe White, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish. I've done videos for all of them, so go check them out. But if you haven't seen Brandon Clarke, you have to watch that video, man. He is insanely good at blocking shots. He's a little undersized at 6'8", but he's going to be playing next to Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson is also a huge athlete. He's a huge shot blocking and defender. That's what his game is. But he's also really good in the offensive side as well, too. Brandon Clarke is going to be able to be mentored by Jaren Jackson, really be able to compete at the next level and really grow. That's a scary trio right there. If they can continue building around those teams and that young core, maybe get a veteran shooting guard or small forward as well, maybe a good backup center that can play behind them that's a good vet, that wouldn't be bad at all. I would love to see that, and I think that the Memphis Grizzlies could leapfrog some of these teams that have been building for a while, that should be better before the Memphis Grizzlies do, considering the Memphis Grizzlies are kind of in a rebuild at this point. They are going to probably, in my opinion, they're going to probably jump some of these teams that have been building for a while, like the Suns, like the Kings as well, like some of these teams as well. They're going to jump up, and maybe they're the next big three in the Memphis Grizzlies. Like they had Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph. Not that they're like a big three, but that was their version of the big three, and they were together for a long time. That core was there for a long time together. Maybe this is their next three that play for the Memphis Grizzlies for a long time to come and really progresses themselves. I'm rooting for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm rooting for them as well. Let's talk about some honorable mentions, and then I'll wrap this video up, guys. Some honorable mentions that I really liked was Portland Trailblazers getting Nasir Little. The best pick in the draft, only based off of value, in my opinion, is this pick with the Portland Trailblazers getting Nasir Little. Nasir Little fell. He's not a great shooter, and that's why I didn't think that he should be like maybe a top 10 pick. When I was watching it, I kind of changed my opinion on him a little bit, and I felt like he probably isn't a top 10 pick, but they get him, and he falls so far in the draft, guys. They pick him up. Portland Trailblazers gets a stud as a small forward or shooting guard, whatever you want to call him, and he gets to really get mentored behind CJ McCollum. Even Rodney Hood was outstanding this year. Damian Lillard as well. They get he comes into an immediate role where he can impact off the bench, maybe even take that starting small forward rotation if Rodney Hood doesn't stay there, or some of the other guys and that kind of thing. Next thing is Pelicans. Obviously they get Zion Williamson. Obviously they're going to be fantastic, but they did have some really good picks later on in the draft. And then last but not least was the Spurs. I wanted to mention them as well too. Fantastic teams, fantastic draft nights for all 6 teams. But my big 3 that I had for these guys were the Chicago Bulls, the Atlanta Hawks, and then of course the Memphis Grizzlies. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought about the NBA draft. Let me know who the biggest winners are in the NBA draft this year. I don't want to go over losers. It's not my thing. I don't want to talk about who was the biggest loser or whatever, who's the biggest bust. I don't do any of that stuff on my channel, guys. I'm trying to keep this positive, talk about the best prospects and kind of their outcome coming into the year. And I cannot wait until the NBA free agency and summer league as well. So as always, guys, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, we will see you in the next one.